Very good afternoon to everyone. I'm very thankful to the Telemedicine Department of SGPG IMS Lucknow for giving me an opportunity to present my talk, Diet and Lifestyle for Prevention and Control of Hypertension in celebrating the Digital Week. So, the topic is Diet and Lifestyle for Prevention and Control of Hypertension. We all are aware and that different studies and data across the world have shown that approximately 1/3 of the adult population is suffering from hypertension, and it seems to one of the major cause of premature death despite so very progress in the pharmacological treatment. But fortunately, growing evidence also supports the use of various dietary and lifestyle interventions for the prevention and adjuvant treatment of hypertension. Then what is blood pressure? So this is simply, it measures the force of blood against the wall of blood vessels. And the normal blood pressure is defined as systolic blood pressure of less than 130 mmHg and diastolic blood pressure of less than 80 mmHg. So the hypertension is defined as systolic blood pressure of more than 140 mmHg and diastolic blood pressure of more than 90 mmHg, or if the person is taking antihypertensive drugs. It is expected that in India around 140 million are hypertensive, and predicted number for 2030 is 214 millions. Around 33% of the male and 32% of the females above 25 years are hypertensive, and unfortunately many more are pre-hypertensive. So this data is really alarming. This is high time we have to be careful to control and manage the blood pressure. If we go through the guidelines, we can see that the recent changes in the international guidelines for classification of hypertension, we can see that it has it has increased the number of hypertensive persons, just because now the guidelines given by the American College of Cardiology and American Heart Association in 1917 for classifying the hypertension. Now the threshold has been established at 130 mmHg and 80 mmHg. With stage 1 hypertension is defined as a office systolic blood pressure of 130 to 139 mmHg, and stage 2 hypertension is defined as a systolic blood pressure of more than equal to 140 mmHg. And the 2018 guidelines by European Society of Cardiology, they have defined a systolic blood pressure of 130 to 139 mmHg as high normal. So we can easily see that many individuals, many persons who were not initially taking any medications, who were either normal or pre-hypertensive, can now be placed on treatment, leading to increase in the number of the persons having the treatment for hypertension in near future if we go by the new guidelines. So as far as the clinical manifestation of hypertension is considered, there is no specific complaints or symptoms other than elevated systolic and or diastolic blood pressure. Maybe some people may complain about the morning hospital headache or dizziness or fatigue. In severe hypertension, maybe they experience some epistaxis or the blurred vision. Since most of the time people remain asymptomatic, that's why it is called as a silent killer. So unless until you monitor, आपको पता नहीं चलता है. So monitoring of blood pressure is very important for controlling these things. So why monitoring is important? Just because if this blood pressure is not controlled and it is persistently high, then it can lead to certain undesirable consequences like stroke or elevated sugar level, or it could lead to hypertensive retinopathy or heart attack or heart failure, or sometimes hypertensive nephropathy or chronic renal failure. Unfortunately, most of the time these problems may happen very suddenly without warning. So keeping the blood pressure under the target range is very important to avoid these undesirable complications of hypertension. So for this purpose, we should know the risk factors for the hypertension and how we can control these factors. There are certain uncontrollable or non-modifiable factors like age, gender, race or family history, which we cannot control. So we should more put our focus more on the controllable or the modifiable risk factors, like being overweight or obesity or dyslipidemia, having an abnormal lipid profile like increased LDL or triglyceride level, having a bad habit like smoking, alcohol intake, tobacco chewing, diabetes, that too uncontrolled diabetes, irregular meal pattern, or having an unhealthy diet like having a very high intake of dietary sodium or salt intake, or very low intake of vegetables or fruits. That is very, very common in Indian scenario. On the top of that, stress coupled with the sedentary lifestyle or physical inactivity is considered to be a very high risk factor for having the blood pressure. But also this is very good that all these modifiable factors we can control with the diet and lifestyle. So the guidelines of American College of Cardiology and American Heart Association in 2017 for hypertension management, according to these guidelines, it says that blood pressure of 140/90 needs to be treated, and blood pressure above 130/80 coupled with any type of comorbidity like increased age or presence of blood pressure, presence of diabetes, or any sort of chronic renal failure, or if the patient has already had any episodes of cardiovascular event, or the person is having the risk of cardiovascular event, then it has to be controlled. And the goal of treatment should to maintain the blood pressure under 130/80 mmHg. So various lifestyle interventions which are very, very important for the prevention and control of hypertension, which we will be discussing in the subsequent slides. The European Society of Cardiology, they still consider that optimum lifestyle and diet is the only treatment needed for the persons with mild hypertension during the first 3 to 6 months after diagnosis, but it is recommended that pharmacological treatment or drugs can be added after this period if the hypertension is not well controlled. So promotion of various dietary and lifestyle interventions, they aimed at optimizing the prevention and management of hypertension in near future. So according to the guidelines by Joint Nutrition Committee, that is JNC 7 and 8, they have documented through various data and studies that various interventions like DASH diet, dietary approaches to stop hypertension, sodium and the salt reduction, reducing the overweight when the person is overweight or obese, or moderation of alcohol, and even the recent guidelines says then we should restrict the alcohol, quitting the tobacco chewing and smoking. They have been shown to lower BP in patients with hypertension and pre-hypertension. And so the recommendation is that one should eat a healthy balanced diet based on these whole grain cereals, millets, pulses, legumes, dry beans, green beans, fresh fruits, seasonally and locally available fruits, and low fat milk and milk products. This is actually a feature of typical DASH diet. This is rich in potassium, calcium and magnesium, which is protective, and it is low in the fat, especially low in saturated fat and trans fat, which is considered as the worst type of fat, and this is also low in cholesterol. Apart from having all these diet, one should be engaged in moderate level of aerobic physical activity, at least 30 minutes per day, most days of the week. On the top of that, de-stress therapy should also be included in the diet for the prevention and control of blood pressure. And through this table, we can easily see that this shows the expected systolic blood pressure reduction by various lifestyle interventions. Like we can see that by reducing 10 kg weight loss, we can see a reduction in the systolic blood pressure by 5 to 20 mmHg, which is really significant. And eating a DASH diet can lead to a reduction of systolic blood pressure by 8 to 14 mmHg, and dietary sodium restriction by 2 to 8 mmHg. And we can see that diet and exercise together can reduce the BP by at least 10 mmHg in almost 1 out of 4 people with elevated blood pressure. And studies have also documented that there is an average reduction of 35 to 40% in the stroke incidences, 20 to 25% reduction in myocardial infarction, and we can see that 50% reduction is seen in the incidence of heart failure. So lowering of blood pressure or keeping the blood pressure under target range is very important to avoid the incidence of all these complications. And as we have discussed, one of the major risk factor is obesity. So persons need to have an ideal body weight, that is the weight the person should have based on their age, gender and height. There are several formula available, but Hamvi formula for calculating the ideal body weight for male and female is very easy to calculate and very practical. And if for the very quick calculation of weight corresponding to 22 VMI is considered as an ideal body weight. तो वेट रिडक्शन जब करते हैं हमें बहुत तेजी से वेट नहीं घटाना है, टारगेट होना चाहिए कि देयर शुड बी ग्रेजुअल वेट लॉस ऑफ 2 to 3 kg इन अ मंथ. बहुत तेजी से 10 किलो 20 किलो घटाना फिजियोलॉजिकली हार्मफुल है हेल्थ के लिए. नेक्स्ट है कि बीएमआई का मतलब है कि जो बॉडी मास इंडेक्स, it is used for measuring the body fatness. Initially, BMI between 18.5 to 25 was considered to be normal, but now the guidelines says that for Asian Indians, it should be between 18.5 to 23. Since we Indian or Asian, we tend to have higher percentage of body fat even at lower BMI. So the chances of developing any non-communicable diseases like hypertension is very high. So maintaining the BMI within range is important. So maintain the ideal body weight. Next, the WHR, the waist circumference to hip circumference ratio, that is called WHR. This waist circumference and WHR are useful for the estimation of central obesity and truncal obesity. So हमें ये देखना है for the male, the waist circumference should be less than 90 centimeter, and for females it should be less than 80 centimeter. And similarly, the waist hip ratio for the male should be less than 0.9 and for females it should be less than 0.8. If it is above this value cutoff, then one has to be careful because it is a risk factor for developing hypertension. So now we will be discussing in detail the dietary components. One should be knowing about the role, means carbohydrate is very important in Indian diet. This is basically providing the bulk of the diet. Around 50 to 60% of the calories is coming from the carbs. So important thing is that one should know the difference between the good versus the bad carbs. So majority of the carbohydrate intake should be from the complex carbohydrate like चोकर वाला आटा, छिलके वाली दालें, मिलेट जिन्हें हम भूल चुके हैं, लाइक रागी है, बाजरा है, जवार है, इनको फिर से डाइट में इंक्लूड करना है. Because these are rich in fiber, vitamins, minerals and phytochemicals and antioxidants. Having a low glycemic index means slow and sustained they are releasing the calories, so glucose का spike नहीं आता है, and one will be very full on fewer calories because it gives satiety also. Since it absorbs more slowly, so it helps to maintain weight, and hence it reduces the risk for developing hypertension. Next, one should restrict the intake from the simple carbs. Especially the diabetic patients should avoid all these things, and if the person is obese or having any degree of obesity, then गुड़, जैम, जेली, शहद, मिठाइयाँ, चॉकलेट्स, कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स, ऐसी चीजें अवॉइड करना है बिकॉज तेजी से वजन बढ़ाती हैं एंड दे इंक्रीज द रिस्क फॉर डेवलपिंग हाइपरटेंशन. Then dietary fiber should be an important component of our diet. शुगर वाला आटा है, हमें मैदा से बनी चीजें अवॉइड करना है. जितनी ज्यादा सब्जियां, हरी सब्जियां खा सकते हैं, छिलके वाली दालें इंक्लूड करना है. एटलीस्ट 400 से 500 ग्राम्स ऑफ जितनी भी सीजनल सब्जियां हैं, प्लस साग वाली सब्जियां हैं, सलाद के रूप में, सब्जी के रूप में, प्लस जो लोकली अवेलेबल फ्रूट्स हैं उनको इंक्लूड करना है. देन वी विल हैव एनफ ऑफ डाइटरी फाइबर इन आवर डाइट. अगर हम साबुत अनाज, मिलेट, सब्जियां, छिलके वाली दालें इंक्लूड करते हैं तो we will have enough dietary fiber, both the soluble fiber as well as insoluble fiber in our diet, which will have a protective effect against the developing blood pressure. So next, after this carbohydrate, fat is one of the very important macronutrient. All fat are not bad because Every time we look the fat as a villain, but all fats are not bad. The key is knowing which fats are the healthiest choices. So there is nothing like ubla hua khana, and especially this is a very unhealthy way to reduce or totally remove the fat from the diet. इसीलिए 2 से 3 चम्मच ऑफ ऑयल, अराउंड 10 to 15 ml of oil should be there in our diet to have all the essential fatty acids which our body is not able to prepare. We have to have all these essential fatty acids from external sources. बस ये याद रखना है कि जो ऑयल की ब्रांड है हमको चेंज करते रहना चाहिए. फॉर इंडियन सिनेरियो मस्टर्ड ऑयल इज द बेस्ट and one should keep on rotating the brand of oil, say in a month or so. So regarding the fat and fatty acid, the step 2 diet is helpful for reducing the chances of developing hypertension, where the total fat should be less than 20% of the energy, saturated fat should be less than 7% of the energy, PUFAs should be less than 10%, and monounsaturated fatty acid, which is considered as a beneficial fatty acid, should be contributing to around 10 to 50% of the total calories. And trans fatty acids, which is considered the worst type of fat, it should be less than 1% of the total calories. जो trans fatty acids है, especially अगर घरों में हम देखते हैं कि तेल को हम बार बार गर्म कर रहे हैं, उसे यूज कर रहे हैं, जितने भी प्रोसेस फूड्स हैं, इन चीजों को अवॉइड करना है. And the most important mineral that is playing an important role in the development of hypertension is sodium. It has been shown that reduction in salt and sodium intake is one of the most popular recommendations for dietary management of hypertension, and it is the most effective strategy for reducing blood pressure. And also, if we decrease the dietary sodium to potassium ratio in the diet, then we will have a beneficial effect. So even it has been seen that even a moderate sodium restriction of 2 to 3 grams per day reduces the diastolic blood pressure by 10 to 16 mg. And if we couple the sodium restriction with weight reduction, then we could see a very good control in the arterial blood pressure. So in spite of all these facts, food tastes boring without a little salt for majority of the people, so no one has normal salt consumption. And the data across the world have shown that the average salt intake is somewhere between 9 gram to 12 gram, and it is very high against the WHO recommendation of having a salt intake of less than 5 gram per day, and for adults and even less for the children. So जो खाने में हम नमक इस्तेमाल करना है, हमें गौर करना है कि उसकी मात्रा में सीमित करनी है. And other than the salt, dietary salt जो हम use करते हैं, we should also know the sources of sodium, and we have to remember that only 5 to 10% is naturally present in the food, 15% is added during cooking and preparation of the meals and or added afterwards, and 75% majority of the sodium is added during the processing of food by the manufacturers. So be aware of the hidden salt जो कि अचार, पापड़, चटनी, सॉसेज, सीजनिंग्स, प्रोसेस या फास्ट फूड्स में जितने हमारे भुजिया, दाल मोट में है, वी हैव टू कट डाउन ऑल दीज थिंग्स ऑल्सो. केवल नमक कम करने से काम नहीं चलेगा, इन चीजों का भी सेवन कम करना है. द अमेरिकन हार्ट एसोसिएशन रिकमेंड्स no more than 1500 mg of sodium per day. If it is not possible to restrict it to 1500 mg of sodium per day, then even cutting it back to no more than 2400 mg per day will also able to reduce the blood pressure. As we know that the table salt, the normal नमक जो टेबल साल्ट हम घर में यूज करते हैं, that is 40% sodium by weight. तो जितने भी डाइटिशियंस हैं, फिजिशियंस हैं, दे माइट बी नोइंग, फिर भी मैं एक बार फिर से इसे बता रही हूँ. सो 5 ग्राम ऑफ सॉल्ट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 200 mg ऑफ सोडियम, and since equivalent weight of sodium is 23, so 1 gram of salt is having around 17.39 milliequivalent of sodium. So by this way we can calculate the amount of sodium per gram of the salt, or any particular gram of salt you can calculate. So don't let your BP high by having a lot of salt. Be aware of all these things. So we should also be aware of practical aspect to reduce that salt in our diet. We can reduce the amount of salt in cooking and preparation of meals over a period of few weeks. So ताकि टेस्ट बड अडॉप्ट हो जाए, एक दिन में किसी के लिए भी संभव नहीं है कि हम 10 ग्राम ले रहे थे, 15 ग्राम ले रहे थे, वी कैन कट इट डाउन टू 5 ग्राम्स, बट आपको आज से स्टार्ट करना है, ग्रेजुअली अमाउंट कम करना है. सो प्रिपेयर मील्स फ्रॉम द फ्रेश इंग्रेडिएंट्स रादर देन जो फ्रोजन चीजें ले रहे हैं जिसमें ऑलरेडी बहुत सारा प्रिजर्वेटिव्स है. So cook food by adding a prescribed amount of salt but none afterward, or you can cook the food without salt and add the prescribed amount of salt after the preparation. And need to avoid ready to eat processed canned food, dibba bun food, so smoked meat or fish products, or the meals prepared with Ajinomoto, the sodium monoglutamate, because we know, as we have discussed, that dietary the table salt is only 40% by weight sodium and this monosodium glutamate is almost 100% sodium by weight. So be aware of all these things. To make a low salt diet very tasty and palatable, we can add spices, herbs, condiments, nibu or imli or amchur to enhance the taste or flavor of the diet you are eating. And eat out less. Even if you are going, then we can select the food wisely. We can, while you are shopping the things or you are cooking, the way you are cooking, you have to be very careful and read food labels. So other things, studies have documented that salt intake correlates very well with hypertension, and undesirable consequences are seen above an intake of 6 grams per day. So instead of sprinkling the salt on the salad or vegetables and fruits, छाछ, मट्ठा, we need to enjoy their natural flavors. जैसे हम कहते हैं सलाद बहुत खाना है, सलाद में नमक नहीं डालेंगे वरना at the end of the day you will land up with lot of salt in salad and fruits. And salad dressings, ketchup, pickles need to be avoided. And most of the times we see that people are using baking soda, baking powder, monosodium glutamate and खार जो पापड़ बनाने के लिए यूज होता है, it contains lot of sodium. So daily cooking में avoid करना, very once in a while if you are using, then you can use in very small amount, and even then you have to be conscious. If it is not, blood pressure is not controlled, try to avoid these things. So we can reduce the salt quantity in cooking from lesser to least, but you have to start. So be an able food label reader. Develop a practice of reading the these food labels so that you can check the hidden sources of dietary sodium, so that we can able to choose the foods which are having a lower amount of dietary sodium in that per gram of the serving, and one should avoid food that contains more than 400 mg of sodium per serving, because it is equivalent to 1 gram of salt. And the DASH diet, which is a very famous very famous dietary pattern, the dietary approaches to stop hypertension, is it has been shown to reduce the blood pressure and it exerts a protective effect against blood pressure in various data. So it focuses the diet that is based on whole grain cereals, pulses, legumes, dry nuts, and the low fat milk and low fat milk products. It emphasizes on the intake of fish and chicken rather than the intake of red meat, because it is rich in potassium, calcium, magnesium, protein and fiber, but it is low in saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, sugar, refined carbs and sugar sweetened beverages, which are a very high risk factor. So a DASH diet, initially it was seen that a DASH diet containing 2300 mg of sodium can lower BP, but if we can further reduce it to 1500 mg, then we will have an additional benefit. And increasing the dietary potassium intake to 3500 mg per day. तो इसको पूरा करने के लिए अगर हम अपने खाने में बहुत सारी सीजनल सब्जियां हैं, साग है और लोकली अवेलेबल फ्रूट्स हैं, उनको इंक्लूड करते हैं, देन वी विल एबल टू मेंटेन डाइटरी पोटेशियम इंटेक. तो महंगा फल खाने की जरूरत नहीं है, जो आपके एरिया में सीजनली या लोकली अवेलेबल फ्रूट्स हैं उनका सेवन करें. तो वन शुड बी इनकरेज टू include at least 400 gram of variety of fruits and vegetables. A word of caution is that the patients with any degree of renal failure should avoid eating DASH diet because it is rich in potassium. So this is not good for the patient with renal failure. And apart from having the DASH diet, there are certain other minerals which we should include in our diet to have an additional benefit, like increase in the calcium, magnesium. For increasing the calcium intake, milk and milk products. Agar obesity, then one should go for toned milk products, pulses, vegetables, green leafy vegetable, any green beans, fruits, nuts, and food made from the calcium fortified flour or the fortified soya milk. And for having magnesium in our diet, we can include nuts, beans, vegetable, legumes, cereal, and animal products. And for potassium, we have already discussed, by including seasonal vegetables, green leafy vegetable, fruits, we can have enough of dietary potassium in our diet. And researchers have shown that high potassium to sodium ratio, they are mostly associated with having a normal blood pressure, or if the person is having pre-hypertension or hypertension, then it can be maintained. And few words about the physical activity, because the physical inactivity or sedentary lifestyle is as bad as smoking. Various data have shown by the WHO. So one should be involved in some regular type of physical activity to have an additional benefit to control, preserve our blood pressure within the target range. So always try to include some sort of activity in your daily routine of any moderate intensity, like simply you can do a brisk walking 5 to 6 days a week. And apart from this, if possible, then you can have engage in some other physical activity of longer duration or more vigorous intensity, like jogging, running, cycling, and swimming, depending upon your choice. One should start with a short duration and gradually increase the duration or intensity. पहले time और speed gradually catch up करना है. So it has been shown that thus any type of stress and anxiety can cause a temporary rise in BP. So we should reduce any type of stress by practicing yoga, meditation, relaxation therapy, or any de-stress therapy of your choice. And last but not least, one should decrease the screen time, especially high screen use at night should be avoided, जो कि आजकल बहुत कॉमन है. जब हम सोने गए तो हम फोन लेके बैठे या लंबे दौरान तक काम कर रहे हैं. And one should respect the or maintain the circadian synchrony by having a regular sleep wake cycle. जो पहले हम कहते थे early to bed, early to night makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise, उसको फिर से हमें प्रैक्टिस में लाना है. One should have regular eating pattern, टाइम खाने का मात्रा और टाइम निर्धारित करना है, ब्रेकफास्ट स्किप नहीं करना है. सनलाइट एक्सपोजर इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू हैव एडिक्वेट अमाउंट ऑफ विटामिन डे, विच इज ऑल्सो प्लेइंग एन इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल इन prevention of many lifestyle diseases. And so the take home message for today is that the hypertension is very controllable disease, but drastic consequences if left uncontrolled. So it is very high time we have to control our lifestyle. We have to have a good dietary habit so that we can prevent or control the hypertension. So an optimum lifestyle intervention is still considered as the cornerstone and first line of therapy for the hypertension management, even in the recent international guidelines. Some sort of regular physical activity is very very important to reduce weight, especially if the person is overweight or obese. Reduction in salt, including the dietary sodium, is important. Regular and adequate intake of fresh seasonal local fruits and vegetables. Healthy dietary pattern, the DASH diet except in the patient with the CKD, and maintenance of circadian rhythm. Stress management is very very important, and cessation of tobacco smoking and alcohol consumption is really very important. So prevention is better than cure, and for hypertension prevention is the best cure. So be healthy, eat healthy, stay healthy. Thank you.